Are you wonderful? Is the world wonderful for you?
The world is so wonderful. Where to start?
You
I mean,
are
there's lightning,
so
there's
wonderful.
sunsets, there's you, there's good books.
You mentioned me. Speaking of books, we are trying to finish up a book, and we just never do.
Yeah, yeah.
This one's just going to go on
Sometimes we
forever and
even talk
ever.
about the book we're talking about.
Yep. Hold on. I want to test something really fast.
Okay.
Sweet. There we go. Yes. Okay, cool. We had a really frustrating bug that had to deal with the Android lifecycle that a lot of people were complaining about that got introduced, and I had to. Uh, I got the fix in pretty quick, but I had to go and double check it to make sure the fix was definitely in there because there's nothing worse than.
I fixed it.
Uh,
Oh, it's not in the bundle.
yep.
But I did fix it and I
Ooh.
pushed it up to the repository. It's just not merged
That's the worst part.
in.
I've seriously had that happen.
How not? It can happen. It can happen. You got a bunch of projects
Yep.
you're working on. You got a bunch of branches.
Yep.
It's not like it's two people working on or one person working on a project sequentially.
It's just a bunch of people working on multiple projects and just messing around with each other's code and screwing things up because we're all human.
Mm. Some of us more or less superhuman than others, but yes.
Yes, you are definitely very superhuman.
Hmm. I like to think
Like,
so.
what a superhuman guy
Right? And amazing and pretty too.
you are.
Sometimes
There's
I just overwhelm myself with amazingness.
there's just no one as pretty as you,
No, that's not true, right? There,
except for
there
maybe
is
your
Snow
wife.
White.
Your wife.
My
Although
wife.
I've
Yeah.
never seen a picture of her, so I can't say anything.
You haven't seen a picture of her?
No.
Isn't it like all over my social media?
I honestly don't pay attention to your social media.
Yeah, me neither. I think I put a picture of us like 15 years ago.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, she's not particularly um, social,
Yep.
which I think is a good thing because I think, that probably helps for us not being divorced somehow.
She doesn't realize how bad she has it.
Yes. Right? Ignorance is a beautiful thing.
It is. Oh, it's so funny.
It's not that. It's she doesn't like making people jealous. So she doesn't get like a kick from showing off how amazing she is, right? She just isn't wired that way.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, what am I going to show that's not going to make somebody jealous
Mm-hmm.
or make somebody feel like everything for me is so perfect or make people
Mm-hmm.
feel bad for me or something like that, right? Like, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to do these bullshit updates because I have a family and a life.
It's
So
true. Only,
I'm like, let's go to Mexico and get some drugs.
I mean, the only thing I use social media for is my business, and that's it. I
Me
don't
too.
want to use it for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think that's healthy. I think that's healthy.
speaking
This
of,
whole social media thing is, I just don't see how it's healthy.
no, it's not healthy at all. I like um I get sucked into so many different things sometimes with it, and it's like this is so dumb. Why? Why? Ugh. And then trying to coordinate. I'm trying to coordinate some stuff with family for tomorrow. I'm going to set that aside for now because I can't deal with it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I see people who post like so many life things on social media. And I'm like, it is not healthy or it cannot be healthy to be sharing all of this stuff out to people. It's like this is not
Yeah, I don't think
good.
it belongs out in the world. It's like,
No, it doesn't.
yeah, first of all, you shouldn't be showing kids like this.
Oh, that is something that drives me up the wall. Is it's like why are you putting your kids on social media? That's
Yep.
just not good at
Yep.
all.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous.
I
And
can see like a family portrait or something like that. Like,
even then
this is
I'm
this. But people
even
put some stuff in there that really like, do
yeah.
you know how many sickos are really enjoying that photo in ways you didn't imagine?
Oh man, it's insane. And then you throw on top of that just not just the sickos, like some of the stuff that I've heard or the rumors I've heard about them taking the pictures of your kids and using AI to mess around
No,
with
yeah.
it. It blows my mind and makes me sick with it all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, just I can't do that. I can't stand it.
Right? Yeah. So many things you'll never know.
Yep. All right. You ready? You want to talk about this?
Rock and roll, baby. Yeah.
Your favorite?
Well, I mean, are we going to get into prototyping today?
Yes, because that's what we've been promising for the last two sessions.
Promises, promises.
So
So,
many of them.
okay, so to go with the trends, a lot of these sections have like a beating quote, and it's kind of a fun one. So, with a look bordering on panic, Weatherhead School of Management Professor Richard Boland Jr. watched as Matt Finaut, an architect with Garay and Associates, casually tore up the plans for a new school building. So the
Yeah,
background story behind this one, and I
I
love this, and I
love
shared this.
this.
Yep, yep.
So
So go for it.
no, I was going to say what Phil's about to describe is very often what happens with creative types. So go for it.
So they were trying to get the just the right kind of design and space going where they could, fit in their priorities essentially, right? I'm keeping it
Yep.
short. And they weren't happy with it, so finally they sat down together for like 3 hours, and then they drew all this stuff up, and the guy was like, "Cool, now I have it. I love it. I'm going to take this." The client, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to, we're going to build this. And the architect takes it, tears it up, says, now that we know it can be done, we'll do it right.
Yeah. Yep.
And I love this. I love this. It goes back to the concept of verify that you can do something, but don't fall in love with the first idea that you have.
Yep.
And because often you got to massage it, you got to work over it sometimes, especially when it's as important as your business model or the core foundation of your product.
Yep.
And even more, it's same, right? For software, just you know don't just take the first concept you have,
Yep.
right? Go in there, do some planning, think about it, look at why you're doing this in the first place. you know all the stuff that I do in my discovery process
Yeah.
that a lot of clients don't believe there's value to until they've done it. So,
Yes.
and you can't see the value in it until you've actually done it, and then you reflect on what you're about to do and see how
Mm-hmm.
much it changed.
Mm-hmm. The funny part is a lot of it. So what you like? So the concept is basically walk through and try to design or build something and just play around and then throw everything out. Like you see that concept across so many different people and so many different things. um I think, whoa, that was loud.
Yeah, sorry.
You didn't break anything, did you?
No, no.
Okay. Like you see that concept with writers a lot. They will write a first draft of their of something, and they'll just write, and then they complete. So often they just completely and utterly throw it out and don't ever touch it again. That's it. Like they're done with it. You'll see that with painters too. They'll go and they'll try painting something, and they'll just do it to practice and play and just get an idea of what they're looking to do, and they throw out whatever it is. Now, yes, there's like the famous Mozart, where Mozart will sat down and would write out scores of music and never have any scratch outs, never have any corrections. He just wrote that. But like Mozart, I bet you Mozart did, because he said all of it was in his head. I bet he did that in his head. Like he sat there and played the music in his head, and then was like, no, 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 and scratched it out and threw it away in his head. Like he just visually did that. So that's what we were what is being talked about here, especially within business and everything.
In software, I call it sandboxing
Yep.
versus product development. So you take your initial trial at it, and it's not so much to make it pretty, just to see if it's physically possible.
Yep.
Then you dive into the value of it and make sure you're hitting all your value propositions and massaging everything. And that's a harder, longer process.
Mm-hmm. One of the frustrating things that I've run into with people, uh, when it comes to software and sandboxing, is they'll go and they'll create proof of concepts, and then the product team is like, oh, let's run with that, run with that proof of concept, and then you end up with some really bad code. It's like, oh my gosh, all right, no, that's not the way it's supposed to go. You're supposed to create the proof of concept to just test it out, explore, find the unknowns, and then you create the new thing, and then you move on. That's that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
And I have to fight that over and over and over again, and I hate it.
it's a hard thing to fight, especially when you want to go fast, you want to execute quick, and to kind of show off. It's
Yes.
really hard to pull yourself back and behave.
Yes. Like especially with the as you said, wanting to move fast, because people really within the software world r- really want to move quickly through it all. They think, oh, because we have like this agile environment and everything, we're supposed to be able to move fast. And I mean, there's that the old saying. I think it was Facebook. Move fast and break things. Is that what was that Facebook or was that Google?
I don't remember. I'm going to look.
Cool. While you look, and it's just like that's not the that's not
Facebook,
the
Google,
current
and
plan. Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah. Well, now if you go there, they don't do that anymore. They got rid of it. I think it's fine when you're a startup and you're just starting the process and trying to see
This is
if
prototyping, right? It's
yes.
when you're prototyping. So here's the challenge, right? Sometimes you want to prototype in front of a small group of your clients,
Yeah.
right? And in that case, yeah, move fast, get the idea out there. And
Yep.
I go with this. I still go with this value proposition until they finish the MVP, and then we totally change culture
Yeah.
and start doing agile sprints.
Yeah. That makes a lot of
Scrum,
sense to me, especially because once you get the MVP, you can start proving things.
and you can't prove anything until you're MVP.
Yes, and that's what a lot of a lot of what we want to do is we want to be able to have proof for what we're trying to work on and trying to do, and
Mm-hmm.
not so much guesswork, because
Mm-hmm.
guesswork leads to poor like not poor, it leads to you spending a whole lot more money than you should.
If you're making a lot of assumptions up front, then
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have a lot of wasted investments, a lot of wasted assumptions, and you're going to have to redo a lot of the work you did. The smaller product you can get out there, and really, a prototype is another word for MVP, right?
Yes.
Now, there's different ways to do MVPs and prototyping. You maybe do it in my world, you might do it on Figma or a sheet of paper,
Mm-hmm.
or even just a verbal description of it. And you just keep working up the pipeline depending on the risks you have to a poor assumption and the cost to get that out there to somebody for
Yeah.
somebody to try. And when you keep in mind that you can spend $30,000 on a good case study of
Yep.
getting people in, looking at stuff, seeing how they respond to it, even on just a design,
Mm-hmm.
then plus the cost of the design, then you realize that you can do a lot nowadays with a MVP product, software
Mm-hmm.
product.
Yeah, exactly. You are absolutely correct. I remember let me think about this for a sec. So I remember a couple of years back, I was trying to do freelance full time, and this freelance contract came across my desk, and it was a full time freelance job, not job, but full time work for a startup. We eh, and we just I just accepted it and continued and went down. I didn't know all the stuff that I know now about startups and prototyping and testing and everything. The app still wasn't in the app store, and there were just so many things that we needed to do. And the guy wanted to. I look back on it, and he wanted to do way too much, and he did it all. And then we had finally tried made it after like almost a year of me working with him on the development. It finally made its way into the Play Store,
Mm-hmm.
and he was having a devil of a time getting people to download and use it. And he just ended up having to fold everything, and he was just so much money in debt. It was like
Mm-hmm.
insane amounts of debt, and I felt horrible for him because of that. And it's all because he didn't prototype and try to get an MVP out the door.
Trying to get that perfect product out there is a terrible idea.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. It's just awful. Uh, so bad.
Live and learn.
And yeah, exactly. Live and learn. I felt bad for him because it's like, wow, I'm sorry, dude. I wish I had known all of these other things ahead of time, because I could have I could have so easily been able to be like, no, dude, we can't do that. And I know we're talking about the software world and MVPs and things like that, but it's kind of like that with business and stuff, uh, because you want to be able to prototype your business plan and kind of just start walking through, or business plan, your business model, and just kind of walking through it and trying to get an answer of kind of answer of like what the best business model is going to be for your business going forward.
Mm-hmm. It's super. It's hard. It's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
You have especially stakeholders. They have a vision of what they need, and they know what
Yeah.
they want.
Yep.
So when they all often think that they are the client, but normally
Oh
they
yeah.
aren't. It's rare.
Yeah. It's true. You're right. Like that's the big one, is that everybody thinks that they are the client, and it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, you're not. You're really not.
Yep.
And I've gotten better explaining that.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. It normally starts with you're not your client because you chose to make the app, and your clients will also choose to create another solution. Therefore, you need to find out who is not going to try to outdo you
That's a good point.
and what they want to pay for.
Oh man. because
And
I will
that's
offer
been
my
the grace.
services.
Yeah, right. Because that's the that's the graceful answer I've come up with so far. But I'm working on refining that because when I, as usual, when I hear myself saying things, I sound like a jerk.